I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting, and we'll go ahead and open the meeting here with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two. Okay, we've officially started the meeting. Thank you for attending. Robert, you want to just take attendance?
Yeah, it looks like so Paul is here, Dave is here, Rob is here, Dan is here, Dale is here, Mark is here. Marion may be late, Joe is here. We're missing Bill, Chris, and Christy. And as I said, Marion is a little late. So
Yeah.
we've got 6 out of 10 members,
Okay,
plus the VSO.
so you got that.
Yep.
Is there a motion to present the minutes from January 2024?
All motion.
Seconded,
Joe moved. Second, Dale, got it.
Dale? Okay. Is there any discussion on the minutes? So we'll do a motion. We'll just take a vote to approve the minutes as written.
Yep.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The minutes from January 2024 pass. Any members of the public that want to speak? I don't see anybody that joined us. So I'm looking. So we have no members of the public who wish to speak. All right, Mr. VSO.
Good evening, everybody. The VSO report for February 27th, 2024. The Veterans Monthly Food and Dry Goods Support Program was held last Wednesday, February 21st, behind the Senior Center. 27 applicants received food selections from the Greater Boston Food Bank, assembled by volunteers from Wakefield and the surrounding communities of Stoneham, Saugus, Melrose, North Andover, along with the Melrose Fire Department. And as I have mentioned and reiterated in the past, that if any veteran, spouse, or immediate family member of a veteran would like to participate in this program and to be included in the drive for the pickup, please call our office for further information, 781-246-6377. In one of the largest ever expansions of veteran healthcare, all veterans exposed to toxins and other hazards during military service, at home or abroad, will be eligible for VA healthcare beginning March 5th, 2024. The VA is expanding healthcare eligibility to millions of veterans, including all veterans who served in the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, or any other combat zones after 9/11, years earlier than called for by the PACT Act. This expansion of VA healthcare eliminates the phased-in approach called for by the PACT Act, meaning that millions of veterans are becoming eligible for VA healthcare up to 8 years earlier than written into law. This is a critical step forward because veterans who are enrolled in VA healthcare are proven to have better health outcomes than non-enrolled veterans, and VA hospitals have dramatically outperformed non-VA hospitals in overall quality, ratings, and patient satisfaction. Additionally, VA healthcare is often more affordable than non-VA healthcare for veterans. The Veteran Coffee Social was held on Saturday, February 17th at the Senior Center, 30 Converse Street, Wakefield. We had 3 speakers. Andrew Aculina, the Clear Path representative, who discussed the services of veterans returning from service and the many programs available for employment and reconnecting veterans and their families to their communities and their benefits. Linda Malcolm from the Room to Write program was also there, and she introduced the veterans with the opportunity to learn the fundamentals of memoir writing, poetry, and documenting their stories. The monthly program is held at the Senior Center and is open to seniors and veterans. Brian Fox was also in attendance as a speaker, one of the organizers of the upcoming 4th of July parade, to let the veterans know of the need to sign up for the participation to help give them an idea of how many would be attending and the specifics on parking, etc. We have a new participant in the Chapter 115 program and 3 new members in the monthly food bank. We have 1 disabled veteran who has asked that we help from the Veterans Relief Fund with a one-time assist on her fuel heating bill, as she had been laid off from her part-time job and has fallen behind in her ability to cover the payment. Senior citizens will deliver 200 gallons of oil at a discount rate for veterans and seniors that should and will help to get her through the remaining winter months. She has also filed for the LEO program for fuel assistance if that does not work. And as I have mentioned each month under Chapter 115, the Massachusetts General Law, the Commonwealth provides a uniform program of financial and medical assistance for veterans and their dependents. Qualifying veterans and their dependents receive necessary financial assistance for food, shelter, clothing, fuel, and medical care in accordance with the formula that takes into consideration the number of dependents and income from all sources. And for appointments for veteran services, please contact me with any questions you may have regarding ongoing benefits or submission of new benefits. We're located downstairs, the rear entrance at the Senior Center, 30 Converse Street, Wakefield, and is by appointment only. Veteran Services hours of operation on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Holidays on Monday hours will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Voicemail is checked 7 days a week at 781-246-6377. And I'm going to ask the board if they could vote tonight on the ability to cover this fuel bill for our veteran, our disabled veteran, from the relief fund. Are there any questions in regard to that?
What is the amount?
Well, the amount, I've already submitted the amount into the warrant. It was delivered. You got 189 gallons. I believe it was 600. I don't have the exact amount at home here. I'm at the house right now. I believe it's about $690, Paul. I'll give the exact amount for you tomorrow.
690. Okay.
$699.
So roughly $700.
Roughly $700.
Okay.
Now, Jason, on the Leo program, she has applied for that, but it might take up to a month before she gets a response on that. I did get her disability letter to him. That's all he was required. That's all he needed. Everything else went in. So it's been put in. They can't pull off the town warrant yet. So after talking with Karen Burke at the Senior Center, she recommended we go ahead and put this through the relief fund. And going forward, if she does require more fuel, she can use the Leo program. She doesn't qualify for 115 financially because she's right at that borderline, and her age puts her at a medical only level of the Chapter 115.
The amount that you sent around to us earlier, Dave, was $728.
That's right. That's lower than that. He gave her a bigger discount. I gave her $3.59 a gallon.
Got it. Yeah, it was $3.64 a gallon in the first note.
Right. It's now $3.59.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that original note had, what do we have in the relief fund? There's like 12,000 in the relief.
12,000, yes.
fund?
And there will be I don't know if I put on the report, I don't know if I did, I had to do it twice here tonight. The next coffee social is gonna be held at the Elks Club on March 16th. It's a breakfast for veterans. I will be sending out an email to all the folks who have been attending the coffee socials, up to 40 people, 45 people, so. I had a communication today with Ralph, and he said it doesn't matter how many you get, and they can bring their spouses with them as well. So I'm gonna send out a response note that they have to get back to me to let me know if they're gonna be coming or not. So I can give him a estimated figure of the attendance roughly 5 days before we have it, probably on Tuesday, on Monday of that week.
Okay.
Dave, a question on the spouse of that veteran. What her age is? Is she considered a senior?
She's 65, but she's on disability.
Okay, because the town does have a fund called the Boyd Fund. And you can ask Karen.
Jason is helping her with that right now, Dan, I believe, but she was almost out of oil. She had almost nothing left. And she had maxed out her credit card, so she reached out to us.
Okay, because that Boyd Fund does have funding for something like a one-time only type, like fuel assistance.
Right,
But
it's similar to the Leo program. Are you familiar with the Leo Fund, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one that's gonna give her a constant for other things as well, hopefully.
So I want to propose a motion that we offer $700 to the veteran for oil relief from the Veterans Relief Fund.
I move.
I second it.
Seconded. Okay, the motion is seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the Veteran Service Officer? Okay, David, thank you for putting that together.
Thank you.
That's a big piece for the VA too. To start using that for healthcare.
That's gonna definitely crowd the 18 hours a week we have, Paul.
Yeah, it'll tighten up my day tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Hey, what do we call that fund again that we're using the money out of?
That's the Veterans Relief Fund.
Got it. Oh, that's the thing from the tax checkbox thing?
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes, there's two funds there. One is the Veterans Relief Fund on the excise tax, and the other is for ceremonies
Okay.
and memorials.
Also, that's the people make donations to the Veterans Relief Fund. And I believe the Elks are gonna make a donation at the breakfast for us.
Okay. Moving on with the agenda. Just a kind of a public service announcement here. We're going to have 3 openings this year on this board, and one of the military rules of thumb is you got to locate and find your replacement. I can't put that into effect here, but that was something that we used to do in the military, especially when you changed over additional duties. You had to go out and find somebody else to assume those duties. But the
other thing we did in the military is assign things to people who didn't show up for meetings.
Yes, but I think a few of the folks that aren't here are some of them that are leaving. So, but anyway, if you know of somebody that is willing to serve, okay, on the board, don't hesitate to invite them and kind of spin them up and introduce them to Sherry, okay, so that we can get their applications and they can go through the process to be nominated to serve on the board by the town council. And I see Mr. Dombrowski just joined us. Hello, Councilor Dombrowski.
Evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm late. I apologize. I'm coming from another event, so I'm
That's
going to
okay.
be no video, but I will be audio.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Everything's going on tonight.
The next item for discussion, junior ROTC support for Memorial Day and the potential for a firing detail. Does anybody want to open up a discussion about that? Hey,
Dale.
Dale, put your volume up. Check your mute.
He's muted.
You're muted, Dale.
Yeah.
Unmute.
He did, and then he put it back on again.
You're muted. You need to unmute.
There you go. Just turn your volume up now, Dale.
Still can't hear you, Dale. There you go. Turn the volume up. You're good. Nope, we still don't have you, Dale. Okay. So what I understand from junior ROTC units and speaking with both Dale and Chris is the high school does not have firing skills. Okay, the junior ROTC programs do not have firing squads. They do have color guard, and they do have some other support. The thing that for our events in Wakefield, the Girl Scouts and Troop 701, the Boy Scouts, do an excellent job at the color guard. I'd like to continue with the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts for participating in our local events. I don't know if we can get a firing detail from a local American Legion. Okay, we don't have the Wakefield American Legion charter right now has expired and the members have aged out. Okay, I don't know if we've got the resources, okay, with the Legion here in Wakefield, okay, to go ahead and conduct the firing detail. So maybe we can ask for some support from our legions to our flanks, okay, to our surrounding towns, Melrose and Saugus. I can ask the Saugus American Legion. I'll be happy to do that if they have a firing detail. I don't know what the requirements are for the firing detail from them.
Hello?
There you
Yeah,
go.
we hear you now, Dale.
You heard me? Okay,
Yes.
There you go.
good.
So do you have anything to add about the firing detail, Dale?
Well, I did talk to Sam Stella at the Veterans Coffee, and he indicated that he was willing to do the West Side Social Club. He wasn't sure whether he could have another person to make it a three-man. That's assuming that I would also be participating. I then questioned him whether he would be willing to do the support for the Memorial Days for the town, and then some other activities which required a firing, rifle firing. But he sort of put me off and said, you have to send me a letter requesting that. So if we want the American Legion to be involved, and I, at this point, don't know at what level, how much, we need to send a letter in. And so I thought it best to come back before the board, ask if they wanted me to write that letter, and I would be more than happy to do that.
So we need, the firing detail needs a minimum of 3, correct?
That's correct, yes.
I think there's only 4 in the American Legion as it is.
Yeah, he indicated that one of the guys who's done it in years past, I can't remember his name, is not in good shape, just like Tom Collins now.
Tom Collins.
Yeah, he can't do it anymore either. But this is another individual from the Legion. So he says he's in good enough shape to do it. I can help. And so he thought he might have one other person that might do it. If in fact he doesn't, then if the board will authorize me, I will check around at the various clubs to see if there's people who have firearm experience and I'll actually say a license, to see if they'd be interested or available. That's about the best I think we could do at this point.
Who supplies the rounds?
The American Legion does.
Okay,
The blanks, yes.
yeah. If you can write that letter, and
Yeah, I'll pass
also
it back.
email a copy to me, because I can also ask over in Saugus if there's anybody at the Legion in Saugus.
Yeah,
That
good
would be.
idea. Yep.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Do they have a Flag Day ceremony in Saugus or?
Not that I'm aware of. They do have a Memorial Day parade, a very small parade that they put together every year. So I'm still learning about that over in Saugus. So I've got a, if there's anything that we need, okay, I put the DD form, there's a Department of Defense form 2536, okay, that I have. And there's also another form that I would like to do for Veterans Day, which is a little bit down the road. Let me talk first about the 2536, which is basically a form to request assets for Memorial Day. What type of assets should we request for the Memorial Day ceremony outside at the common in front of the memorial?
Humvees,
M1 tank.
yeah, M1 tank. That airplane.
Depends on who you ask. You ask a tanker, you get a tank. You ask an aviator, you get a plane.
Plane.
I don't think the Massachusetts inventory has M1 tanks though. But I'm thinking of 2 Humvees. Because it's one of the principles of patrolling. You always send some. You don't send 1, you send 2. And the other thought I had is a ceremonial cannon.
That'd be cool.
Since it is an outdoor ceremony.
I hate to say this, but I am a Massachusetts licensed cannoneer.
There you go.
Hey. And okay. Where's the cannons?
I don't have a cannon anymore. Used to
Okay.
belong to 5th Massachusetts Light Artillery, but
Okay.
no cannon.
That was the
Actually-
horse-drawn artillery, right?
Say again?
That was the horse-drawn unit, right?
Yeah, it was a horse-drawn unit.
All right. I don't think you're saddle soaping the saddles anymore, are you?
No.
Okay.
Now, there's a possibility we could borrow the cannon. There is a cannon at the Reading Rifle Club. Okay, it's a homemade cannon, not like a Parrot or anything like that, like an old type cannon, but it you can fire it.
Which rifle club is this?
It's the Reading Rifle
Reading, okay.
Revolver and Rifle Club. They've got a cannon, and I've fired that cannon numerous times.
Do you have a point of contact up there at the Reading Rifle Club?
I'm a member, so I
Can you
can talk
ask?
to anybody.
Can you inquire about that?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I actually have the combination to lock with where the cannon is, so I could get it out. But I wouldn't do that.
It's small enough to put in a car, right?
No,
Back in the truck?
yeah.
Okay. So you need it. Do you have a truck to bring it down?
No, I don't. No, we'll have to think about that a little bit. How to get it down there. Might have to rent a trailer. I could throw it on the back of a trailer.
Okay. So on the request though, 2 Humvees. I will also request a
M1 tank.
I think I'd get a helicopter sooner than I would get an M1. I only know of one M1 tank in Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's out at Stowe.
In Hudson, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
Stowe,
That's the only
Hudson,
one
yeah.
that I know of.
It's the first one I've seen or touched since I left the service. So,
Okay.
yeah.
But that was an M1. That was a Sherman and a Grant they had, right?
They
Yes.
have an M1 at the American Heritage Museum.
Right.
Right.
If we get that thing moving now, we could get it here by Memorial Day. Like Patton's Army, it would be trouble to get the fuel. It gets like 4 miles to the gallon.
If I recall,
4 gallons to the mile.
Yeah, 4 gallons to the mile.
I'm going to set the secretary back a few years. If I recall correctly, when I was at Panzer Concern, we didn't have M1 tanks on the other side.
No, they had just gone to the M1 IP from the M60s when I got there.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, they still had the 68-3s over there.
I had the 68-3s when I went back to after I got out and went to the reserves at Fort Devens. So I went back in time.
So I'm surprised the M1s even fit in that motor pool.
Oh yeah,
Um,
with very careful drivers, which of course we were.
yes. All right. Any other equipment that we may want to request? Final call. Okay. Hearing none. The second piece I just want to share. And I'd like to take a vote on this. Let me introduce something to the committee here. This is for Veterans Day, which is why I've got to fill this out. But the Department of Veterans Affairs seeks, they actually have what they call a regional site application for towns and communities, okay, that do Veterans Day ceremonies. I'd like to, basically all it is, it's a simple form to fill out. I'd be happy to fill it out on behalf of Wakefield. And the reason that I'm bringing this up in a public forum is I don't think this needs to go to town council, but I would like to run it by Steve Mayo. Basically what it does is it puts a pin on the map with the town of Wakefield at the VA level. Okay, that's really all that does. Okay. It asks questions about the sponsoring organization, which would be the town of Wakefield. Veteran service organizations that are involved, yes. Is there a website? Yes. And then describe the activities that we do for Veterans Day National Committee to consider selecting the Veterans Day regional sites. Please provide sufficient information for the committee to make informed decisions, and if applicable, provide information about previous year's activities, including copies of pamphlets, official programs, photographs, newspaper clippings, videotapes, and other materials as necessary. We have a library of history, okay, and record that we've done successful events with over the years. And it's just an opportunity to let the VA know that Wakefield is doing these things. And it also gives us a little bit of leverage to bring in notable guests and speakers, okay, for future events. So I have a motion. If we, should the Veterans Advisory Board go ahead and apply for Veterans Day, to be a member of the Veterans Day National Committee for a regional site application.
I second that motion.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Any questions of me?
I think one unusual thing this year is, I think Veterans Day is on a Monday, so it'll be a long holiday weekend.
I think it's Tuesday. Hang on. You're right, it is a Monday.
I think last year we celebrated on what, a Saturday? Because we're
Yeah.
going a lot.
We've done a Friday, we've done a Saturday, and now we're doing a Monday because of leap year. You're correct. Any other questions for discussion? Okay, so the motion is to go ahead and complete this. And it's a Veterans Day regional site application to be filed with the Veterans Day National Committee. All those in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Okay. It's unanimous, and we will submit that to the VA. Give us a little recognition. No telling who's going to show up. Upcoming events. The first one that I want to introduce is not on the agenda, but I kind of put this to the top of my pile. Please mark your calendars for March 18th, 2024. The time is 6 o'clock to 7:30. And this is to mark the volunteer appreciation, okay, at the Albion Cultural Exchange on Albion Street. It's usually held at the high school. This year, the volunteer appreciation will be at the Albion Cultural Exchange. Okay, again, the date is March 18, 2024. I know this is kind of quick. Some of you may need to check the calendars. March 18 is a Monday night. And if we can just go around the room, the information needs to get to Sherry Dalton. Okay, we can either say, yay, I can go, or you can apply individually to Sherry. I'm going to go ahead and respond that I am going to go. And we can go if I could just take it around the room, Dale, would this be something that you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Dan?
Yeah, I already responded online.
Okay. Robert?
Yep, I'll go.
Okay. Joe?
Yep, and I let Sherry know already.
You did, okay. Thank you.
Sorry, on the disability. committee.
Mark Young?
I have no problem being there.
Okay.
Sweet, I got a ride.
And Dave Mangan, I know you don't volunteer, but you work on your days off. I'll add your name to the list.
Certainly.
Okay. I'll go ahead and reply, and I'll include the secretary in my correspondence to Sherry. I took one off your plate, Mr. Secretary.
Appreciate that.
No problem. Other dates that are important, Monday, May 27, 2024 is Memorial Day. The plan for Memorial Day is 1 p.m. at the War Memorial on the Lower Common. Robert, do we need to do anything to reserve that space with Sherry or Town Hall?
The outdoor space?
Yeah.
I'll ask.
Maybe Dennis DeFazio and DPW.
I'll reach out.
Thank you. I would also, in that note, the inclement weather plan is the Galvin Middle School.
Okay.
The next item, the next event that we have is June 14, which is Friday. And that is Flag Day and of course the Army's birthday. And again, that ceremony is at 6 p.m. at the War Memorial on the Lower Common. And that's a joint ceremony with veterans and our scouts. Usually the American Legion shows up. We'll see how many show up. I don't know if Mr. Collins is going to have the microphone this year. We may want to inquire about that.
Paul, did you say 6 p.m.?
6 p.m. And that's also a flag retirement ceremony.
Paul, this is Ed. I was just going to offer that if you'd like, I can follow up with DPW on that too, from the microphone perspective, for either of the events you mentioned.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering if we should follow up with WCAT, which usually does not cover that event. WCAT may be a good one there for
Yeah.
Flag Day.
Right.
know
And
last-
if
Go ahead.
if that ends up being the case, Paul, then they would have like both speakers and the microphone, like the tangible speakers. I'm saying
Yes.
the audio speakers and the microphone, and the podium would come from DPW. And if there are any chairs, that would, I know some of the folks that will be there would be older, so perhaps having DPW bring some chairs to set them up, that might be helpful as well.
Okay, yes.
For both events, but certainly Flag Day, I know from experience.
Memorial Day for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, of course, yeah.
DPW too. It's a good point.
If I'm not mistaken, Memorial Day, didn't they put a tent up?
They put up I don't know what DPW did. I did see a tent. I have seen a tent up there. Yes.
Just in case, not for rain, but just for the sun.
Yeah. Okay. Those are all good points. And again, Mr. Secretary, you're gonna coordinate that with Sherry?
Yep.
And I would definitely add WCAT to the Memorial Day event too.
Yep.
The next event that is just for public information, I don't have a specific date in the month of June, but the change of command for the commander of the USS Constitution is also in June. I would like to say, I don't think they're gonna do that on the Army's birthday. But I don't know what the Navy has in mind.
I would think that they would do that on the Constitution herself. That's the normal.
Well, they're gonna do that one on the Constitution themselves. That's correct. But I don't know what the date of that is. We
Okay.
don't have anything to do with setting that up. It's just public information for those, for many that may want to go to that ceremony downtown. It's usually open, it is open to the public. Okay. And I did hear a rumor that I think it's another woman who's gonna take command. Okay, I don't have her name offhand. But as we roll into March, that's it's kind of exciting that you've got the first woman commanding, and now you're gonna have another woman commanding the USS Constitution. And Commander Farrell's done a terrific job with that ship for the Boston metropolitan area. One event that has not popped up is, did we reschedule Town Day? And Counselor Dombrowski may have the best answer on that.
I actually don't have that answer, Paul, but I can get it for you.
Okay. I just haven't heard anything from Town Council about the reschedule.
Nor have I, but I'll follow up.
Thank you. I'd like to go around the horn right now if we could, unless there's any other questions about events.
Okay, I have two event, quickie ones.
Okay, go ahead.
Purple Heart Day is August 7th, I believe. And I might not be in country at the time, but we got the purple lights. Get somebody just to set them up the night before and that night of the 7th, like we've done the last few years.
Okay. Who
And
did that in the past?
It was me and Dave, his wife, Lois, somebody else too.
So,
But it's just to run the string, plug it in, and set the lights up on the memorial.
so you have the lights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dan, that's August 7th, right? It's a Wednesday. And we leave them up for what, 3 days? Take them
We
down
put 'em-
Saturday?
Put them up that night before and then that night of Purple Heart Day. So it's 2 days.
For the 6th and the 7th?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put up the
No.
6th then. I'll talk to you before then, and we'll coordinate a pickup. I'll get the lights from you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you,
And
Dan.
the other thing is the Reese Across America has a traveling tractor trailer that goes around the different cemeteries. Wonder if we could apply for that. And they go across the whole country, but they end up the year right here in New England. So if we could get it in, late October or November, I think they set up at like Forest Glade and they're there with a display and they're like a little museum. But you have to put in a request for it.
What is it again? What is the thing that
It's through Reese Across America. It's one of their tractor trailers. It's like a traveling museum. And they set up in different locations. And they end the season in New England here, close by. So maybe we could get them sometime in late October or November.
They only have one, correct?
Yeah, it travels around the country and it ends up at this New England at the end of the year.
Okay.
Something a little different, but
We might lose to Bourne National Cemetery. where they usually have a couple thousand participating. But we can look into that and request it. Okay. Just a quick around the horn. We'll continue. Dan, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay. Joe,
Nope.
Mr. Mark Young,
Nope, I'm good.
good. Dale? Okay. Mr. Secretary.
Nothing, just a plug that the secretary's role is very soul fulfilling. So think about it.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for my soul to catch up to me, Bob. That plane behind me is one of the planes I was in.
Just a couple things from the chair's desk. A special thanks to Rabbi Hirsch and all the members of Temple Emmanuel for hosting the annual Four Chaplains ceremony that we did in the beginning of the month. That's turned into an annual ceremony. One recommendation that was made to me after this year's ceremony is perhaps in the future ceremonies, we invite Protestant and Catholic to participate in that ceremony, and Protestant and Catholic from the council of clergy that we have here in town. Okay, so we could have some joint participation at the temple for that event would be a good idea.
That's a great idea, Paul, because let's face it, the four chaplains, we're from four different denominations.
Yes.
So collectively, it'd be good, yeah.
If we can do that, I think that's a great goal. And that's something I think is reasonable since next year's ceremony, I think it's on Monday for next year for 2025. Just yes, it's a Monday. So Memorial Day invitations, these are things that the chairman's working on. I will put out a request for a chaplain. I'll also put out a request to the music director at the Wakefield Memorial High School for a member of the chorus, a soloist to sing the national anthem. And of course, the buglers for taps. The two students that do the bugles for taps, this will be their last year. And I'd like to, I don't have any ideas, but I'd like to give them something for the years that those two young ladies have done taps for us for Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and other events. They've done a terrific job, and both of them are college bound. And I'd like to be able to single them out at the Memorial Day ceremony and thank them some way. David, maybe you and I can put our heads together and come up with something.
We'll come up with something, yep.
We also need the Wakefield Fire Department bell. We ring the bell as a tribute for the fallen, and we'll do the list of 161 fallen as part of that ceremony. That requires 8 readers with 21 names apiece, and the last list has 14 names. And then I'll send out the invitations to the Boy Scout Troop 701 for the color guard this year for Memorial Day, and then the Wakefield Girl Scouts will do the wreath. So we should order a wreath also, David.
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
A couple other notes before I turn this over to Councilor Dombrowski. I sent out an email earlier from Cheryl Poppy. Cheryl is she's still working for the state of Massachusetts, and she's sharing information to the public and to those of us that are veteran service officers and also veterans counselors and those of us that are affiliated with veterans organizations in leadership roles. But she's serving as the senior advisor for veteran-owned businesses, and she's advising on veterans-owned businesses and development and partnerships. This used to be it still is part of the SCORE program for small businesses. But today she put something out that was very interesting. First, there's a virtual business opportunity session with Schneider Electric on Thursday, February 29 at 3 p.m. This is a direct access program, and there's an attachment to that email that I sent to you if you know of anybody that may be interested in participating or learning to transition into that field, okay, for that's coming out of the military. And what they're looking for are honorable veterans, okay, that may want to work in that industry for that company. The second thing that Cheryl is also sharing with us is information regarding the upcoming Military Women's Symposium that's being held on March 7 and 8 at MIT Lincoln Laboratory with in-person and virtual options. She gave there's a link on that note that I sent out to you. Okay. The event is is in collaboration with MIT and Lincoln Labs and the Valkyrie Project. With information on the symposium, there's background and registration that may be found in the link below. The link, you can Google it, says Military Women's Symposium, the Valkyrie, that's VALKYRIE project. And you can go to their webpage, which is the valkyrieprojects.com. Feel free to review the program. When I looked at it earlier, I found out that there's both officer and enlisted women that make up that organization and group, which is very impressive. And all the women that are in that program have got some really, really fantastic credentials, and they've done a super job. And I will say that the programs that Lincoln Lab and MIT put together and sponsor are usually, they're always 5-star programs and well worth attending. This is a big deal for those successful women in that project. Well worth taking a look at. Okay. March is also I guess it's Women's History Month. And that's a good event to share with women that have served in the military that may be interested in attending. David at the beginning did share some information that came from the VA. That is pretty much hot off the press from Washington straight to us here in Wakefield. We have not yet received anything from the state about the VA increasing the medical care benefits. Okay, but stay tuned because the VSOs are going to take on more work. I can see it coming. And the goal is to track that and increase the capacity of the VA hospitals throughout New England. And I'm sure the EOVS, the Executive Office of Veteran Services, is working very, very hard to kind of put that together. And I will say, just on a personal note, from the Saugus side, I received a phone call yesterday from one of my clients. It's taken her about 4 years to get her claim in. And David, you're one of about 6 veterans that have worked on her claim. We finally handed it over to Tom Lyons. He trimmed it down a little bit. The VA finally got it. She had a terrific call with the VA representative that was extremely informative about what steps she needs to take to go further. And she is a widow. She's single. She has no children and no family. So the VA is taking a look at what they can do to help her out. It was good to hear her in a good mood for a change. Just looked at my notes here. I think that's it. Counselor Dombrowski. Any comments? The floor is yours.
Thank you, Paul. I'll be brief. Just a few things. One, I wanted to mention that I've been following up on the illumination of the flag and the signage at Vets Field. The second is I have the date actually for the town day. It's going to be Saturday, September 21st from 1 to 4 p.m. with a rain date of Saturday, September 28th. And finally, I'm working with our economic development director, Aaron Kokinda, on an allocation of some of the ARPA funding that we have left within the town. You might recall that the town was granted several $1 million through the ARPA, ARPA funding. And so I'm really trying to focus on the business side of things with at least a portion of what's left. And I know you had mentioned earlier, Paul, about the veteran-owned businesses. Part of what I would like to have incorporated into the proposal that I'm working on currently is grants and other funding opportunities for veteran-owned businesses in Wakefield, or the opportunity for someone to perhaps open one. So I wanted to just put that before this board to see if that's something that you think would be of interest or value to include in the proposal. Personally, I think it would be, but I'd like to hear what the board has to say on that.
Any feedback from the board about veterans-owned businesses here in Wakefield?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Anything we can do to support them. And that would be for existing businesses and also anybody coming into town that wants to open one?
Correct, right. I mean, the ARPA funding, was really at its core focused on trying to help, businesses bounce back from the impacts of COVID, and other things too. But I think businesses were a driver of that, certainly. So it just felt to me that veterans, I don't think we do enough recognition of, either veteran-owned businesses or try to encourage, veteran-owned businesses within our community. And I think it's part of an incentive package that Aaron Cookend and I are trying to build. But that aspect of it, for me personally, was important. So I just wanted to see, what the response of this would be.
I have a document that I will send you, Ed, and please share this with Aaron. I will probably send it to both you and Aaron. This came.
Okay.
This is from Cheryl Poppy. The title of the document that would be of interest to you, that I encourage you to share with the town council and Aaron, is it's titled "The First Look at Post 9/11 GI Bill Eligible Enlisted Veteran Outcomes." Okay, it's a document that was produced by the VA that is tracking the post 9/11 GI Bill success of enlisted veterans and what they're doing. It's about 60 pages, so I'll give you the link. I'm not going to send you the whole document. But it breaks it down into, by all sorts of different categories in terms of age, race, gender, skills, okay, family, and disability ratings. And they also have another word in there called rurality, RURALITY. Not sure if that applies to Wakefield so much, but it is, it's kind of an interesting metric and statistics. And I'll be glad to share the link. Again, this came from Cheryl Poppy. who was the Secretary of Veteran Services before Mr. Santiago. So Cheryl now is taking on this role of getting the veterans and involved in business and the entrepreneurial side with SCORE and the communities here in Wakefield.
I think that would be great, Paul, and I look forward to reading it. The only other piece I would say in relation to that is, I do think that we could probably see this as an opportunity to also better promote veteran-owned businesses within our town. I don't know that most people are aware of the fact that we have various businesses that may be owned by veterans, and I think being able to have a platform to promote that would be important and helpful. And so if that's something maybe for a later discussion, but I do think it kind of ties into this economic push that I'm trying to work on relative to supporting our veterans in business ventures.
Could I say something, Ed? I think it's a great idea. And the after money was made for economic development of not just buildings or stores, was made for employing disabled people, disabled veterans. And I know that there may be a store coming down the line in Wakefield that will employ, brain injured veterans or somebody that might have a missing amputated leg or arm. But these people need employment. And these are great jobs for somebody that, being on the Commission on Disabilities, we hear about this. And I think there's something coming down the line. And I hope the town council will vote on that and help it out.
Certainly, Dan. There has been a good amount of discussion about what one of the proposals, indeed, and that'll be on our agenda on the 14th in conjunction with the other ARPA determinations. But understood and message received.
All these veterans gave a lot for the country and a lot for Wakefield, and I think the town of Wakefield should give something back to them, employment.
Understood.
Ed, what was the first item you talked about? A flag in a field or something?
It was the illumination or the proper lighting of the flagpole in the signage at Wakefield.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that's all I have.
I even have Aaron's email address. Okay. Thank you, Ed. Councilor Dombrowski and everybody else, just information. Our next meeting is March 19, which is Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. So please mark your calendars for that event. And are there any matters that were not anticipated for the agenda?
Paul, do we have to order the flags for Memorial Day?
I got them already.
Okay.
I got 2,000 of them delivered. They're paid for. We paid for them this week.
Good question. Thank you.
That was one of Tommy Collins' main things, getting those flags out there.
I got
them. They all got delivered. Okay, hearing no matters not anticipated. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Like Dale moved.
Dale, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Okay, thank you very much for your time. We'll see you next month.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.